kindly drop on the chat box your experience yesterday and how you see the program. What new thing have you really gained? Okay, Ibrahim Mohammed is saying, good morning, sir. I learned the application of Python in petroleum engineering. Well again, to be precise. Wow, and that's true. A colleague of mine attended the event yesterday. She's, I think she's into food science, and I had to call her this morning, and she said that she enjoyed it, but we're just talking about well. And I laughed, and I told her that it's an applied training. It's not just merely data analytics, but it has to do with the oil and gas industry. So thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, for your comment. Akambi is saying, good morning. I learned how different libraries were put to work, e.g. the NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, etc., and an advanced usage of Python programming. Wow, that's true. Even me, I also learned so many other libraries that was also used yesterday. So I have a comment from Noak. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name very well. He said, oh, Imran is from India. He said, I was not able to join yesterday. Today will be my first day. Yeah, I can guarantee you that you're going to learn something and it's going to be interesting. And Abdullahi Mayun is saying, well, I was not fortunate to be part of yesterday's program. Oh, Mayu missed, I can tell you, but it was live streamed. So we have the session of yesterday on YouTube. The link will be posted on the chat box so that you can follow through. Then he said, well, I hope to learn a lot. Thank you today. Then Jude Mark is saying, yesterday I learned a lot. Wow. Even though I didn't understand anything my boss praise was doing, I got a great insight into how Python can be applied. I got an overview of how it can be used. I believe the distinguished speakers are seeing your comments, they are noting it. So the session is being recorded. The link has been posted there. Thank you all for your comments. And like we promised you yesterday, today is going to be another exciting session. So we have the best prepared for you guys to be able to deliver this training. So for me yesterday, I learned a whole lot. I can tell you that. And I know doing our session shares remark, she will say something else. I know she learned one or two things about the training yesterday, because I can see our excitement as well to join us. So we'll start right away. So once again, on behalf of SP Abuja section, we welcome you to the second day of this training program. The training has been on subsurface data analysis. It's an event which is collaborative between the young professionals of SP Abuja section and the student affairs of SP Abuja section. And yesterday, we had students from all our chapters, even students from all over Nigeria, and young professionals as well, who participated in the training program. Okay, Rabiu is saying that yesterday I learned many things about well and how to do data programming as well. So that is good. So today we'll be having the second batch of the training, which will be handled by Mr. Destiny Otu and his team. And yesterday we introduced Mr. Destiny as an expert in this area. But before we invite Mr. Destiny to come and give us the aspect of today's training, permit me to get a remark from able and capable section chair. She said, I think, let me read her comment first. He said, because I have some knowledge of Python, I could follow what was happening. And with practice, I'm sure I'll be able to code with subsurface data to get a good visualization for interpretation. Please, let's give our section chair a round of applause. You can see a comment. That tells you that not only she, but as many participants that attended this program, we learned a whole lot. You can see data analysis, you can see data visualization, and it was just like our guys from TechPet were just doing magic, right? So Let's invite the section chair, the person of Mrs. Madam Yamina, to give us just a brief remark before we proceed with the training session for today. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning,
Good morning.
Chair. And thank you very much for bringing this exciting program to us. And thank you all the members for joining. It's really very interesting, and it's really, really exciting to learn something new every day. I think we should all make it a mantra for our section that we promise ourselves we must learn something new every day, and it's doable. So with that, I think we've said enough. I've already dropped my comments on the program there on the group, and I look forward to learning more. And then I hope that you will share the materials with us so that we can practice. Because what I know about all this machine learning and all this is practice, really. The more you practice, because there are so many resources available for you to improve. You can always even just Google a question if you get stuck, and somehow you get responses. But we need guides, we need the material so that we will be able to integrate what we've learned and move it and use it moving forward. Thank you very much, everyone. And I urge you to pay attention and learn as much as you can. Thank you again to the YP team.
Thank you, Ma, for your brief remark. I think the program chair also joined us, the person of Mr. Victor Anoche. Mr. Victor, do you have any remark for us? Because I know you are a data analyst, so I know you may have one or two things to say.
Just to thank the YP chair and the student affairs chair for organizing this events, and thanks to TechPet and our distinguished speakers and the lecturers. So hoping to learn new things in today's session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor, for your remark as well. So at this junction, this is a moment we have all been waiting for. The last day of the training, the most exciting session. And it's not just it's not just going to be a talk session, but rather you see it be done. So at this junction, permit me to invite our guys from TechPet Global Limited, Mr. Destiny Otto. I guess you are with us. So over to you, Mr. Destiny.
Before he joins, I forgot to particularly mention the company TechPet. We're really grateful for you taking out time to come and bring this program to us. Thank you very much. But I grouped you all under the YP team because we are all YP under the SP umbrella. But thank you very much, TechPet, for doing this for us.
Thank you, Ma, for the remark. Okay, I think he's having issues joining. He said he was kicked out, so let's try to resolve it. But while we expect him to join, you can also continue to drop your comments about what you expect about today's training. And I think we couldn't take questions yesterday just because of the similar challenge we had yesterday. So you can drop your questions on the chat box. So that after the training, would take all the questions. So let us know your expectations. Let us know how excited you are about the program. Let us also know your comments. I would really appreciate that. Well, we expect Mr. Destiny to join us shortly. Mr. Tango is saying that is there certificate of participation? Yes, of course, there is certificate of participation for this training program. And like we did yesterday, we would also drop the link, the Google form link for you to be able to enter your details. So capture that and be able to send you a certificate of participating in this training event. So thank you. Mr. Akpan, we can make TechPets Global a co-host. I think he just joined.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Co-host.
Okay. So Mr. Destiny, welcome once again. While you were out, the section chair also acknowledged the organization for highly supporting SP Abuja section. Indeed, we're grateful, and the comment thus far have been positive. So let me tell you that there are a lot of expectations, because we always trust that we never fail to deliver. So on this ground, we want to invite you to proceed with the training for today. So over to you, Mr. Destiny. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Destiny. Are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Mr. Ogolo.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chairman, for giving us the privilege to study and learn with us with the session. So I want to quickly apologize for should I say my lateness? I wasn't really late, but I think technical issues network issues rather, kept kicking me out of the meeting each time I joined the meeting. So I don't know, the network has been highly unstable since morning. So I just hope, I'm just hoping that it doesn't disturb the session while we go ahead. So as I promised, I'm going to continue from where my colleagues stopped yesterday, and after that we'll talk about practical applications in different aspects of subsurface analytics. Yeah, but we'll continue hands-on to do a machine learning unsupervised classification. Many of us have had in one event or the other that we have what we call supervised learning or unsupervised learning as two important types of machine learning. And then we have also had hear me?
Yeah, I said we lost you a bit, but we can hear you now. Hello?
Reinforcement learning, mostly just supervised and unsupervised learning. But today we are going to be talking about unsupervised learning. So basically it's one important aspect of machine learning, or one type of machine learning algorithms that doesn't involve you already having labels for your data sets. Sorry, in your data sets, right? You don't already have labels. What that simply means is that you don't already have a column that has the specific answers. Yeah, you don't already have a column that has in that your data set that has the specific solutions or answers. But you could actually use trends or patterns to group or cluster your data sets, and from there, or to label your data sets. I mean, the labeling is inherent in the data. So with that, you could tell, okay, this is a particular result. This particular result I'm looking for, and this is this other result I'm not looking for. Yeah. So unsupervised problems are mostly classification problems. Yeah. So classification means that you have to separate or categorize or group them. Yeah. Or your data. You have to group your data sets or group whatever it is you are actually modeling. Yeah, so you have to break them down into groups or classes. And how you do that is by using a particular algorithm. And after you have implemented the algorithm, you expose the data set or pass the data set through that particular process or steps, and it will actually find a way to split into different parts, right, or different classes. So I believe as we are going on, I'll be able to, you'll gain a better understanding of the whole thing, a more practical understanding. So this is what Praise did yesterday. He imported these libraries. So we already said that Python need these libraries are like plugins or additional add-ins that you add to Python to give you the particular functionality you want. So for example, you want to get a set of functions that you can easily use to plot data or to create visualization plots. This is what you would need, or this is what you would use, called matplotlib. This library here called matplotlib.pyplot. And then still on visualization, for more advanced visualization, you would use Seaborn. Yeah, so this import statement basically it's just to import or activate these libraries. These libraries, they should already be downloaded in your environment. If they are not downloaded, you will need to first download them with either pip install or some other package installer, right? So these libraries are used to give Python that extended functionality. It's more like your Excel. Sometimes you need an extra Excel add-in or some other tools like that. You need an add-in to actually extend the functionality, or a plugin. So that's what the libraries do, right? So by the time you use the import statement, you activate the library in this particular sheet that you are working on. And then you use this to read off your data set. This is the name of the data set. Use it to read off. It's the same as the one. It's already in the Google Drive, but with a different name. It's the same as the one Praise used yesterday. So I used this function to just describe or to describe the data sets. What that simply means is you have all these are various columns, and then you use, by the time you do this, it's going to give you what we call a summary statistic of the data. Summary statistic. A count means how many rows are in these individual columns. So if there are missing data, you notice that the rows will be less than, that particular column will have a number of rows less than, or data points less than others. Yeah, you might want to check the mean. Of course, there are a lot of reasons why you might want to check the mean. Then the standard deviation as well. You might want to check the 25th, 50th, and 70th, 75th percentile. Yeah. Then this is the minimum value, and this is the maximum value. A very simple way to summarize what you have in your data. Generally, if you want to see your data, you could just print this, and this is what you have in that data set. Okay. Yeah, this is what you have. You have all your well-logged tracks, caliper, and all the rest, density log and all that. So this is what you have. And then each of these columns, we use this .describe to show a summary statistics of all this. And you will notice that those data sets have about 133,000 points. Yeah, that's the count. It has 133,000 points. That's how huge it is, right? So another thing I want to do here, or I did here, was to just display the columns that are available in that data. A very simple, short way to quickly show all the columns that are available in that data. See the gamma ray, the density log, neutron, and quite the other sonic, and quite, you see spectral gamma, you see different, you see mod weight as well. So different, see resistivity as well, shallow resistivity as well. So different log tracks that are available in that data. And then going forward, wanted to kind of create a different name for that, because there's a column in the data set. Let me show you. So want to change this column name, want to change it to have this name as lithologies. Yeah. So that is basically what we did. Sorry, as species. So that's what we did with this code. And then we displayed this again. Sorry. Now, talking about Praise actually did quite a lot of this. So it's more like I'm just repeating them. So I want to go straight to what we have for today. So this is what we call, what he did yesterday, we call column remapping. Yeah. So I'll just leave all this. I will not go over all those again. I want to go over to what we have today. I think we also plot
Hello, Mr. Destiny, can you hear me? I think we've lost him. Let's just be patient. He will join us again shortly. Maybe having network challenges. So Destiny, seems you mute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself. So I think serving network challenge. So we can just do a little bit of interaction while we wait for him to join us. So he was talking about something about supervised and unsupervised machine learning models or algorithms. So what do you think is the difference? Let's just interact so that we can learn amongst ourselves. I think he mentioned some of them. What do you think may be the difference between these two types of machine learning models? Hello, guys. Okay. Mr. Ibrahim said that my question was unanswered, sir. In the proceed of practice, what we have learned after the program, how can someone get in touch when he encounters an unresolvable problem? I think I will leave this for Mr. Destiny to answer, but I also have a response I can give, but I feel he may be able to talk more about it because I'm also a reservoir engineer, so I build reservoir models. And sometimes when you build models, it could be crazy. Even I also build petroleum economics models as well too. So like when I'm building a petroleum economics model, it could be crazy sometimes, but I want to tell you that that's the beginning of even you learning more. Because sometimes you have to go back to your models, you look at your models and you try to see what mistake you have made. You go online, you learn a whole lot. But I think Mr. Destiny may also have more response or answers to that. So Jude Mark is saying unsupervised machine learning models that they are mostly used for classification problems, which is true. So I think, let me check if he has joined us. So let's be patient a bit. I think Mr. Praise wants to say something. Mr. Praise, you can speak, please. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Unsupervised learning models are used for classification problems. That's a good one, a good attempt. But let's bring this down a little bit. First things first, what is unsupervised machine learning and what is supervised machine learning? So supervised machine learning, we are telling the algorithm, for example, linear regression algorithm. We are telling the model that this is the input data and this is the output data. So we are like the ones specifying it for the model, and the model is just like we are using labeled data sets to use it and provide like an feed in data into the model. So it's supervised. We are the ones labeling the data, the input and the output. While in the unsupervised learning models, we are not specifying any input, any output data for the model. We are just feeding it the data, and you see the model performing, understanding the data on its own. Examples of unsupervised learning models are when we have clustering problems or clustering models, such as clustering and the rest. Then for supervised learning models are when we specify the data, as I said initially. And examples are all these our regression models, tree models, distribution tree, and the rest. So that's how it works. So there are two different things altogether. And again, supervised learning models can equally be used for classification problems, while unsupervised learning can equally be used for classification problems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Praise, for that. The answer, I told you now that they are the ones that can give the best answers, right? And you can see the response of Mr. Praise. If you don't know him, he was one of our speakers yesterday, and he did a great justice to the training on the subsurface data analysis. Mr. Destiny, are you, I think he just joined, I can no longer see him again. So while we wait for him, I can see Mr. Musa, your hand is up. Let me give you permission to, I think you may want to say something, right?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So
good morning.
I wanted to answer the question, but Mr. Praise have given a brief summary. So, but just to add, supervised learning models are models that you give an input and you train the machine, you train the algorithm to predict an output or a label. So the input are called features and the output are called labels or target values. So you supervise it, right? But in unsupervised learning, the data, you just give the machine the data and it tries to figure out patterns in the data itself. So there are no labels, there are no target values. The algorithm tries and predicts relationships in the data. So like you said, the types of unsupervised machine learning models, we have k-means clustering, hierarchical clustering, self-organizing maps, and in supervised learning, we have regression, support virtual machines, and different types of neural networks. So that's basically it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Musa, for the response as well too. So I think we've learned something again. So someone is saying, I have a question from yesterday. Like I said, just drop your questions on the chat box. After the training session, we'll take all the questions. So Mr. Destiny, can you hear us?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Good to have you here again.
Pardon me. Since yesterday, my network has been terrible.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll go ahead. All right. So I was trying to explain, or I was trying to say that we might want to see, as part of the things we are doing while exploring the data, we might want to see the various, how the data is distributed for each little fishes. Yeah, from this you can actually spot a lot of things. You can actually spot a lot of issues. For example, you could actually tell if, in fact, from being able to tell the exact type of formation to being able to tell terrible issues with outliers and all that. So when you find out problems from the data, from when there are lots of outliers or a lot of, or the data has a pattern that is not really consistent with what you know about that particular formation. Yeah, so from this, you can actually get a lot of information, yeah, by visualizing or cross-plotting the neutron density curves. Yeah, so this is a popular, neutron density curve is a popular curve. Yeah, so you can actually get out a lot of information from this cross plot. Yeah, so, but going forward, before we go ahead, I want to do something. I want to create a number of functions that we'll be using much later. Yes. One of the, I think the most important function I want to create here is called, I'll call it the create plot function, right? It's already pasted the code here so that I won't have to go through writing it all over. So I'll just take it step by step. Yeah. The first one is the first thing that this function will take in. It's going to take in the well name, and then it's going to take in the particular. It's going to take in the data frame, the data sets, or our data sets, right? It's going to take in the depth curve or the depth column, right? And then it's going to take in the particular curve, yeah, we are plotting. And then if you have like the log of that curve, you can actually fit it in here, right? And if you fit it in, you can plot the log of that same curve together with the plot on the same axis. Yeah. So there are a lot of reasons why you might want to use the log curve or that curve. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons, from normalization to, you know, there are a number of things you could actually do. You might want to do, apart from just normalizing. Sometimes you might just want to, see or test to see if this was really an offshoot in the data, or it's just a problem with outliers. Yeah. So sometimes log readings can actually be helpful with that. Yeah. So these are the arguments that will be taken in by the function. Yeah. Then we also have this particular line of code here that basically just takes in the number of curves we want to, the number of tracks we want to plot. Yeah. So here in this argument here, you have to put in the curves you want to plot as a variable, saved in a variable. Yeah. So the number of tracks you plot depends on the number of curves you actually want to plot as saved in a variable. Yeah. So moving forward, these are encodings for color system, right? So each of them represent a code to represent a color. So you can always check documentation on which of these, on which particular color online, on which of this, or which particular color code you want to use. For example, these ones are actually mixtures, right? And then these ones could just go straight, red or black. Yeah. So whichever color you want to use, they all have a color code. I think based on, I think they are all based on RGB. Yeah. So going forward, we have these codes to set up our axis. So this code, sometimes you might, in fact, whenever we create plots, we actually like or want to set up the axis. You might want the axis to be big or to be small, or somehow just whatever you want it to be. You might want, just to make it very simple, yeah, you might want it to be a particular dimension, maybe 12 inch by 12 inch or 12 inch by 10 inch. Or you might want what we call subplots, right? That means you have a number of plots in one axis, or a number of axes, or a number of plots in a grid-like format, like some of the ones we see here, right? And the ones he also showed us yesterday. So you use this particular code to do that, right? And then this is going to be like a super type tool. This is not just this subtype, that means a super type tool for the whole plot, yeah, for the entire plot. You can actually format it with this font size, and of course, where you want where you want it to be, the position, right, and the height. Now, look, this code is actually to actually look through each curve, yeah, and to create a track for that or with that particular data. Now, let's take it this way. We have for I curve in enumerate. Now, this enumerate function, what it does is that it takes in the curve you have supplied, the curve you have supplied. That when I say the curve, I'm referring to a particular log reading, a particular property. Let's say it's density or it's neutron, yeah. And then I'm referring to that particular property, all the readings as you go down that particular column with depth. Yeah, so that's what I mean by curve or track, right? So basically, when you do this, the enumerate function, one of the things it helps you to do, is that it returns numbers or indexes. It applies indexes to the items or elements as you are looping through them. So what that simply means is that I would rather be an index instead of just being a particular value in that data frame or in that series, right? Now, for the Hello? Can someone hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. We lost you for some minutes, for some seconds, but you can continue. You are just unmute yourself. I think you mute your mic. Guys, it seems we've lost him again. So, but it is our culture. While we wait for him to join us, I think with us. Your session yesterday. Hello, Mr. Praise, are you with us? Okay, thank you. There was a question that someone asked yesterday. So let me just take them while we wait for Mr. Destiny to join us. Someone asked that, how do I know that this is a gas/oil well, or interpret those well logs data that was presented yesterday? So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the person wants to gas or water.
To know that, how do I know that this depth or this region is oil or gas, or data interpretation of well logs using machine learning approach?
Okay. This particular question boils down to our knowledge of well log interpretation. So okay. Let's take it first. Can I share a screen?
Yes, you can. I've made you a co-host. You can do that.
I believe the person is here. Let me just once you have a combo log that is generic, at least let's use it and understand. Okay. So I'm using my device, my mobile phone device, especially for that. So let me create and make it. Okay, so I believe we can all see this log. I'm not trying to teach you how to interpret, but I want to just take us back to our normal fundamental basis of well log interpretation. Yeah. So we usually have the first log to be the gamma ray log, and based on its deflection to the right or to the left, we now know whether we are in the shell formation or in the sandstone formation. So when we log from the gamma ray log, the one that is green, is to the right, you know that formation, that place is actually a shell formation. Now, when it deflects to the right, like this side that is yellow, it's now a sandstone formation. So, at least using gamma ray log, you have now been able to differentiate the shell and the shell and the sandstone. Now, we don't make decision when identifying oil or gas. We don't make decision with only a single log. So we need to have another log. Now, because we know that our oil, especially in the Niger Delta region, is majorly located in the sandstone, we now need to move over to the resistivity log, and which is the middle log. I'm just using this combo log to explain. So this middle log now, we are interested in the sandstone formation, which is the yellow color. Now, we now check the resistivity. And if the resistivity is high, then how are we going to do it? You know that we have water, oil, and gas. It means that water is a high conductor of electricity. It means that the resistivity for water will be very low. Then the resistivity for oil will be high, and the same thing with the one of the gas. So if you check within the sandstone formation in the resistivity log, you will observe that the region that we can suspect hydrocarbon, the resistivity is high. Then we are now only interested in that depth whereby we have our hydrocarbon. Now our hydrocarbon can be oil or it can be gas. But you know now, previously we are only interested in the oil. So, but nowadays we are now interested in both oil and gas. Now for us to decide this hydrocarbon region, the one that is oil or gas, we need another plot or another track and log, which is known as the neutron porosity, neutron density log. Now, in the neutron density log, because of their overlapping effect, we now know. Now, if we have a kind of overlapping effect, or what we call butterfly effect, we now know that it's gas, and that's why this color here is identified as gas. Then, if there is a kind of marriage, or how will I put it, togetherness, I'm sorry, I'm not using the right word, But if there is a kind of marriage there, you now know that it's oil. So these three basic combo logs or different logs can help us to differentiate or identify the one that is gas, the one that is oil. So for the class we did yesterday, we are able to plot the gamma ray log, the density resistivity, density, neutron density log. Another one that we are not able to plot, or you can still plot, is the resistivity log. And with these three basics, you can now identify the depth where you have gas, oil, and water.
Okay. So okay. Thank you, Mr. Praise, for the brilliant explanations. So we've taken one of the questions today. So Mr. Destiny is still with us. So can you share your screen? Unmute yourself. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ogolo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can share your screen.
Sorry about the issues.
No problem.
I'm sharing my screen now.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you also see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
A title for a super title. I'm going to come back, and after we have used the function the first time we are going to use it, I will not use it immediately, but after we use it, I'm going to come back to this point to show us the relevance of each of these lines of code. Yeah. So moving. And then going forward, we have okay, so this should affect the general plots. Generally, it should, for example, the grid line color. This is for the grid line color for the plot, and then the line style is going to be dash. You could change this to 0, or you could change this to maybe dots, and then the line is going to be dotted. Yeah. So a few things here that you could quickly change, just for aesthetics reasons. Could make the font weight of the write-ups there bold, particularly of the title of each of those plots. Yeah, bold. And then the next thing you want to do is what we call X and Y limits, which is so for the Y limit, it's just basically based on the depth curve. Yeah, the depth curve or the depth track. So the maximum value and the minimum value, that's what will form our axis limit. Yeah, so that's just how you get the axis limits. Yeah, for the depth axis. Yeah. Then we have the labels. So if it gets to the point where we have have again, you can just tell the font size from here. You can just tell the font weight from here, or customize anything you want to, right? I'm going to come back to this after the first plot. That would enable us to properly appreciate this, right? Now, there are different kinds of layouts. So if it's a tight layout, you can use this, and then this is always done to show the plot, right? You want the plot to show at the end of the day. Yeah, even though it's not really needed in Jupyter Notebook, but for just to complete your code, you might need to do that for other editors, but for Jupyter Notebook, you might not even need to put the plt.show. But then it's fine to just include this, because it's not only in Jupyter Notebook, it might be used, your codes might be used. And then this is basically what it returns. So from here, we'll begin to write codes we'll also create other functions that we'll need. And the other function we'll be creating is a function to split the data by well. So basically it's going to split, because this data contains a number of wells, and we're going to share or split, create a function that will help to split the data into different wells. And then at the same time, it's going to help to put
So we've lost him again. I think the internet is bad today. So while we wait for him, let me see, I think somebody asked some question here. I think after Praise responded to that question. Mr. Praise, I guess you're still with us. It says that can butterfly or crossover logs be called balloon effect? Whether can butterfly or crossover logs be called balloon effect? So what do you think, Mr. Praise?
The balloon effect, this is still our business. So we need to go back. So the balloon effect is detected as butterfly effect, or that over leg or so that you mentioned. So we can regard it as see-through. But in the case of oil, we don't experience balloon effect. So that's just it. Unless there are recent studies that we say otherwise. So I'm done. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
I said I'm done with the.
It's like you need to serve. Okay, I think you were saying you are done with the questions. So someone is asking that how can we use machine language to predict the skin factor of a well? That's from Ibrahim Owedola. How can we use machine language to predict the skin factor of a well?
Okay. To answer that question, how we know that AI and machine learning is actually being applied in every field. So if you are so curious, you want to know how it works, like for example, in this case now, whereby you want to predict skin factor, and how we usually do it, like we go back to the fundamentals first. What is skin factor? What are the parameters associated with skin factor? What are those important parameters that skin factor is dependent on? Then if you identify those parameters, you now think of, is there any data set? Because machine learning is all about data sets. You must have a data you are going to use in training your model. So you now think of, are there possible data? Can I find different reservoirs or reservoir locations also that have encountered different skin factor over time that I can gather, such that if I use it now, I will now train my model, and whenever I present a certain reservoir or a certain case or observation based on the same relational input features, I can now predict skin factor. That's a good way of going about it. So how you can start off first, you can, if you know the basics, good, you now look out for all those parameters and you now start searching for the data. Then if you don't know the basics, you get some publications, get textbooks, read about skin factor and know the parameters that is dependent on. Further, you now get the data and start applying your okay, and
I just got a course with Mr. Destiny, so he said he would join us shortly. So, because I want us to wrap up at most 1 p.m. Today. So, thank you, Mr. Praise, for your comment. But someone was asking that how do I make practice, or if I'm building a machine learning model and come across several challenges on how to go about the project, that's how do I continue? So being an expert, how do you cope? Maybe I'm building a model, it's not running, it's not working. That's what modelers do. This is a challenge to me. So just from your own experience, how can one navigate through such a challenge? Mr. Praise.
Okay, so encountering challenges are usually a normal stuff. We are so frustrated that we are now enjoying the problems and the challenges we are seeing. I'm just kidding. So how we usually resolve this issue is that first things first, it's not advisable to just jump into AI, jump into machine learning with YouTube. We start having a mentor or somebody that is guiding you. So for me, I will advise, make sure you have a teacher or a tutor, even if the person won't be teaching you fully, but can be free to answer your questions. So, and also, if possible, try and get a community. And when I'm talking about community, it must not be like 50 person. It can be your work, your colleague in the office, or somebody that is interested or is into the machine learning, such that at any point in time you can reach out. For example, I want to perform feature engineering. There are about 5 ways of doing which one should be the best, considering my data, the nature of my data. The person from Intersphere will be like, oh, I use this one or consider this one. It will be easier for you than when you are jumping up and down on the internet. Then that's for having a mentor or having a community. Another good way of resolving it is by Googling. Googling is just the best way. We have Stack Overflow. We have this one. We have towards data science. We have Medium. We have people that are actually experiencing all these things, and they have given so many answers. Even this Quora or so, they have given many answers to those problems, even with sample codes. So what you do is that you read through it, see their views, and know whether it resonates with your own problem, and that's how to resolve it. Then if you still have that problem, even after reading and consulting, feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or anywhere we can now see a way we can assist you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Praise, for that answer. So just a way to recap what you said, definitely you need a mentor, right? You need somebody to guide you. And Mr. Praise has volunteered that you can mentor anyone in this area. So in case you have any challenges, you can reach out to him. So Mr. Praise, you can drop your LinkedIn handle so that we can start connecting with you immediately. So Mr. Destiny is not yet still here with us. I think he joined, but the challenge is still persisting. So a question that we got is that how can I use well logs can I use machine learning to interpret well logs? Because I know that in geological modeling, you have the gamma ray log, your density logs, and your resistivity logs. The density log is to give you porosity of the reservoir, while the gamma ray log to give you the lithology. But how can I use machine learning so that just as I see it using tech log, where I'll be able to characterize my reservoir, and I will say that, okay, within this layer to this layer, I have sandstone. Within this layer to that layer, I have carbonates or shale. So what do you think from your experience?
Oh, okay. So okay, just a minute. Let me change my audio hearing device. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so how this thing works is this. You want to use machine learning to identify regions through your depths where you have possibly oil, gas, or water. So if this is the case, how I advise is that, this is something you are doing for yourself. It's like your own personal project. So a good way to do it is to still go and check whether this thing has been done before. Because if something has been done before, then it means that you can actually start from where they stopped and achieve what you want to achieve. So a good advice should be go and look up for publications, possibly how to predict oil locations using well logs, machine learning. You just put those keywords, possibly on Google Scholar and the rest, all these our sites for publications. You will check, you see varieties of ways of doing it. Because what is good is that even if you find a way of solving it on your own, and your own might be very stressful compared to what people have done already. So a good start should be to know you can download like about 5 publications, go through it, see what they have done, and it will now give you a better clue of solving your own. Then regarding our class of yesterday, what we are interested in doing was to show you how Python and programming can help you in achieving that well log plot. Then the interpretation will now be based on your knowledge. So a good thing now you can equally do is that you can decide if you want to solve that problem, you can decide to get different locations. If you want to work on that project, you need to get different locations on your own, because the model won't just immediately identify that this is oil or this is gas. So you need to identify through so many depth intervals where you have oil. And so then as you get it, you take measurement of those intervals and now use it to generate a data set you will now use to train your model. So this is like a long process, and actually a process of achieving something like that. I don't know if it's in line with what you have in mind when you ask the question. But before taking this action, it's advisable to go and read up publications and see if people have done something like this. Then if you don't get such a solution, then you now know is that you are now working on a serious project of which you can sort out for help, or you can merge with some
So sorry for the delay in reaching out to Mr. Destiny, and you can see it's having a network challenge, which is a challenge we still have been trying to solve in Nigeria. So 2023 is not far. We need a government that can give us a steady internet, steady power, and the like. So it's a suggestion that we think who can lead and make this country a great nation. So that when we're having events like this, there will be no technical challenge. Internet will be well, and all that stuff that would be needed for the success of a program like this. So we want to apologize for the technical challenge we're having, because we won't be able to continue this training for today. But want to let you know that we'll reorganize it again, because like I was discussing with Mr. Destiny, that it's not just about giving us certificates or hosting a program, but we actually want to learn. And Mr. Destiny and his team, they have a whole lot to deliver to us. I think when we're planning the program, Steve told me that 4 hours is not enough for what he wants to give us. So I think maybe this may be another opportunity for us to, we have begged them again that, we agreed 4 hours before, right? So since we're unable to do this, we could still request for more time so that we can actually learn. And I tell you that if you know these things, it becomes part of you, and never can tell where one day, someday, you may need it. So we apologize that we may not be able to continue this session today, but we'll get in touch with you. We'll fix another date, and we'll communicate back to you. So on behalf of SP Abuja section, I wish to send an apology for it. So with this, we'll stop the program today, but never still, I want to say thank everyone for participating in this program. I know today is a weekend. We all had lots of activities that we would have been participating with, but because of our yearning for knowledge and acquisition for yearning for knowledge and the desire to acquire more skills, that's why we've joined this event today. So we want to appreciate everyone for joining. We also thank our speakers, starting with Mr. Destiny, who is not here at the moment because of the technical challenge that he's having. So we thank him and his team, Mr. Praise from TechBet Global Limited, who have been teaching us, training us on how to analyze subsurface data using Python. And in one way or the other, I believe each and every one of us must have learned something. I want to also thank the section chair for being with us for these 2 days. She inspires me to learn. So I will not keep on learning. I'm currently wrapping up my PhD program. If that's not my PhD program, I will still keep on learning. I may have to go for another degree. Ma, are you with us? So that I'll keep on learning.
I am. I am.
I said I'll have to go for another degree again because of you.
You should. It's good.
Maybe this time around, I have to go for a degree in data analytics or machine learning.
That would be nice. Yeah, because that's where the world is going now. Everything is being simplified and using machine learning and all that. So I think it won't be a bad idea, really.
Yeah, thank you, Ma. Thanks for joining us. So we're
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me. Yeah. So do you plan to run this second day, day 2 on another day, or what's the plan?
Yeah, we plan to have it on another day so that because Mr. Destiny and his team have a lot to give us. So we need to tap on those knowledge.
I think we should do we should reschedule it so that we don't miss out on the knowledge. Yes.
Yeah. So that was what I discussed with
and
you.
I would suggest a weekday, like we didn't really have hitches yesterday.
Okay,
we hardly had hitches, we hardly had hitches. Maybe in the evening, like we had yesterday, 5 to 6 or something, because we didn't really have as much hitches as today. Or is it me? And regarding technology, you mentioned something about the government and providing internet and everything.
Yeah.
I would urge us to not only think about government all the time. Yes, government is not doing what it should be doing. It can do a lot more. We cannot, we'll continue to complain. But I think it's also important for each of us in our own sphere of influence to see what we can do to make things better. Currently, I am in the UK and I see how things work. It's not only government that does, individuals like here. And this is a good starting point because we are members of SPE. Volunteering is very, very important. It's a very important part of their community here. For you to be accepted and integrated into a community, one of the fastest ways is if you volunteer. Things happen without government. Government gives the oversight, government gives the direction and everything, but individuals are the ones that really drive things. And I think we should start striving. What can I do? Government cannot possibly do everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Each of us as individuals can do something. We can do something. If you read your scriptures, the religious scriptures, I'm not very conversant with the Bible. At least in the Quran, I know that God always urges you to help the needy, help the poor, support as much as you can help. God did not say you should make sure government helps the poor people. God talks to you directly to help people. So by that analogy, God is telling you to do the right thing. And imagine if each of us does the right thing, what will happen? Because sometimes some of these challenges we have are not really government, but individuals. You're supposed to be at work at 8. A lot of us go to work late. We don't go till 8:30. That's 30 minutes that we should have done something that we did not do. Sometimes you're working in a place, but you're also doing part-time somewhere else. So you're using some of that time that you're supposed to be doing something. And saying you're not well paid or something is not an excuse, because it's not about the amount. Because if you stay and do your work, God will bless that your hustle. So let us try to put things in context. It's a long talk, this one. I think YP, you should also organize another one about being, the best that you can be. Bill Gates and all of them, if you look at them, they all became what they became through trying to solve a problem individually, not through government or anything. And when government sees that you're doing something, government will, and that's why people are accusing that government is always giving Dangote concessions and everything. But Dangote is solving a problem, and government is seeing the potential that Dangote has for its citizens, and that's why it will make sure Dangote stays in business. I hope you understand the rationale. And I'm not here speaking for government, because I am not government. I don't know anything, but it's just for our own peace of mind and for us to put our country in context. The economic crunch is everywhere. I am right now in UK, and I can tell you that what I bought some years ago, it has almost doubled as well. My electricity bill from the time I came till now has almost tripled. Same with gas bill. So this crunch is everywhere, and I am speaking I am in the system. I can see it. So let us appreciate our own system more and try to do as much as we can and let me tell you, in Nigeria, there are more opportunities. I'm telling you. If only we could just get to the drawing board, sit down and decide to do something honestly and genuinely and patiently, and we're not expecting to become rich within a day or two. But Dangote got to where he is today after 30 years of hard work. So it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, consistency, focus, all that to get to where you want to go. And we will get there by God's grace.
Okay, thank you, man. Right. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Sorry about the sermon.
Well, we all need it so that we can be able to build Nigeria and take it to the. I'm in the academia, so and I also have students. Some of my students, they are also here too. So thank you, man, for your comment. So on this junction, I think we'll stop here, and like we said, we'll communicate a different date for the remaining aspects of the program. So once again, we want to thank everyone for joining. So Thank you to the section chair. I think, Ma, do you want to say anything?
I think I've said enough, but thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you to our student chapter representatives. Thank you to students all over Nigeria and the globe and professional members. So this is SPE Abuja section. So we'll communicate with you subsequently on the next dates of the program. So I wish you a great weekend. Yeah, thanks. Bye.